simply as a tool for you to virtually indicate that you would like to speak in order to help the chair facilitate the discussion. Going forward, all committee and commission meetings for the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission will be recorded and posted to the State Bar website. A friendly reminder, this is a video conference. Please be aware of your surroundings behind you. If you're having any issues, here are some troubleshooting tips. For those using Zoom on a computer, when on mute, holding down the space bar will temporarily unmute you. If you use your phone to dial into this meeting, please be sure your computer's microphone is on mute to avoid audio feedback issues. And while joining, audio via computer is highly recommended. If an individual loses audio, they can call in separately using the Zoom conference number. I'll also mention, if you're having some problems with connectivity, sometimes it helps to turn off your video. That's all.
I just wanted, sorry, to jump in. I've now asked all the panelists to turn on their videos.
Thank you.
Okay.
Those who mentioned they're having a problem, you should be able to do it now.
Yeah, and just to add on to Dan's point, just a reminder, given what we discussed in our last meeting, I will be doing my best to read the chats out loud as they come in, so that if there's any accessibility issues or anyone misses them, they're actually on the recording and part of the record. So just keep that in mind when you are putting things in the chat. So on that point, both Bob Planhold and Catherine Blakemore had some concerns about the host stopping the video, and it seems as if Bob is still having that issue. But that was what Erica was addressing, was making us all co-hosts to allow that. And also just be aware, if you're, be aware of like what's behind your surroundings, but also be aware if you get up and go or move around or anything, it's probably worth turning off your camera just in case. If you need to use the restroom at all, just let me know and we can pause or something like that. Okay, because I know we have a long day today. Why don't we go ahead and get started with roll call?
Connolly?
Here.
Cloggy?
Yes.
Fightmaster?
Yeah, here.
Bennett? Blakemore?
Here.
Friedman? Mann?
Here.
Meeker?
Here.
Plantel?
Here, finally.
I'll also go through liaisons and State Bar staff. Selena Copeland?
Present.
Bonnie Huff? Christine Ganon? Mark Tony? Duan Wing?
Hi, everyone.
Dan Pasmanic?
Hello.
Brady Dewar? Danielle McRae?
Here.
And Deborah McReynolds?
Here.
Great, thank you.
Great. And I assume we have quorum at this point?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Okay, do we have any members of the public that want to provide any comments? It looks like there's a couple people that have raised their hands. Let me see. They're not showing up on my screen, however. Let me look. It looks like Jane Bune at LACLAJ. Sorry, I can't remember what the acronym stands for. I apologize. Ms. Bune, do you want to make public comment?
Yes, hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to give a little bit of context to our carryover request for IOLTA funds. I think that is on the agenda today. So one thing to note is that this number here is a kind of a generous or more conservative estimate, because as of that time, I was not sure exactly how much we were going to be looking at. So I wanted to make sure we were covering our bases. But I did look at our October numbers yesterday, and I just want to reassure everyone that we will definitely be able to spend down everything by June of next year, and possibly even way before that. But of course, not making any promises, but Thank you to everyone at the State Bar for being so generous and flexible with the 2020 IOLTA and EF funds. That really helped our organization a lot with having that flexibility to kind of push those funds back and spend that at a later time. Yeah, and I also wanted to say that we did have a couple of staff vacancies earlier in the year, around March, and we were finally able to hire for that near July, August. So that also added to us having to delay the spending of our funds, but just some additional context for you guys. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Ms. Bune. I guess one question I just had is, are you available to stay on until we get to that agenda item in case the committee has questions?
Yeah, sure, I can go ahead. I can do that, yeah.
Great. I'll of course open it if the committee members have any questions now, but sometimes we have questions as we're actually discussing the agenda item. Does anyone have questions now for Ms. Bune? No? Okay, great. Thank you. And it looks like Christian has his hand raised. I don't know. Sorry, which organization?
Christian Abasto, Disability Rights California Legal
Okay.
Director. So I guess I have a procedural question. Is this the right time to talk about carryover requests, or should we wait till, I guess?
Yeah, it is public comment period. And then I'll note that Dave Korsak over with the CFO of CRLA kind of raised the same question about in the chat about whether to talk now or later. You're welcome to make public comment now. If you're available to stay on when we discuss that agenda item, we'd love to have you available in case we have questions. And if you have comments then, we can definitely give you the opportunity then, but it's up to you.
Okay, let me make the public comments now, and I'll stay on to answer any questions. So my name is Christian Abasto. I am the legal director of Disability Rights California. With me today, we have Andy Imperato, our executive director, and Karen Keene, our finance director. And we're here to urge the committee to approve Disability Rights California request for a carryover. If you don't know, Disability Rights California is the federally mandated protection and advocacy agency in California. We have been providing free legal services to low-income Californians with disabilities for more than 40 years. Obviously we have a long-term relationship with the State Bar. We appreciate the funding that we receive from the State Bar, and both with the State Bar money and the federal funding we receive, we provide statewide services to persons with disability in California. We also take our responsibility to use these funds timely very seriously. In fact, prior to COVID-19 pandemic, we rarely requested a carryover. However, unusual times sometimes require unusual strategies and unusual solutions. And we made a strategic decision when the pandemic started and when we received a significant trust fund cut to preserve and carry over as much funding as we could to prevent layoffs and service reductions. At the time, I remember I think it was May of 2020, we were really scared about what would happen next. We didn't know whether this was the first cut of many, whether our funding was going to be cut. And our primary motivator and sort of the conservative strategy that we took was to prevent staff layoffs, because layoffs can have a demoralizing effect and can create both service reduction and demoralize the staff and have staff leave. Things look very bleak back then, but things are looking much better now, and we have been successful in preventing layoffs. We have been successful in providing remote services, and now that society is opening up and the financial and economic picture is looking much improved, we are ready to spend that money. We are ready to expand our services. We're ready to provide much needed services to clients with disabilities in California. The COVID-19 pandemic has made things worse for our clients, right? So we have developed programs, projects that are dependent on this money to deal with some of those issues that the COVID pandemic has exacerbated and has shown that need to be remedied. We need the carryover funds to create new programs, to hire new staff, to deal with the impact of COVID-19. We're a larger organization, so you can rest assured we have over 300 staff. We have many offices throughout the state. We have the capability of spending that money quickly. We have the capability of ramping up, hiring staff, et cetera. We have a plan how to use that money. With the carryover funds, we're going to expand our advocacy and community engagement team to provide both remote and in-person services to our underrepresented clients. One of the areas of services that suffered because of the pandemic is in-person services. I think we've done a marvelous job of providing remote services, but I think now that things are opening up, we need to get back to in-person community-based services, and we intend to use this money to do that by hiring a supervising attorney and an intake coordinator. We also intend to expand our human resources and communications department to help with the increased workload our expansion will create. We also intend to expand our legislative team to help with dealing with legislative issues that impact our clients. We're going to strengthen our litigation capacity by hiring a litigation counsel and a litigation support manager. We're adding community advocates, including a community organized to organize clients with developmental disabilities. We're adding support staff to support this expansion. And more importantly, we're going to use this money to help support increased personnel costs like salary and benefits to ensure that we stay competitive and that our staff stay with us. We urge the committee to vote in support of our carryover request. Not receiving this carryover will have disastrous consequences to our clients with disabilities, because Disability Rights California is the primary provider of legal services to Californians with disabilities. And we are happy to answer any questions that the committee might have. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you very much. Does anybody have questions now in the committee? Okay, I don't see any hands raised, but we appreciate if you guys can stay on until we discuss that issue of the agenda item, because there might be questions and things you can address at that point. Thank you very much for the public comment. I'm going to quickly just read the couple entries in the chat, and then I'll get to Mr. Korsak. And so if I'm saying that correctly, I apologize if I'm not. So in the chat it said, this is Dave Korsak, CFO of CRLA. Once we get to the 2021 IOLTA grant budget carryover request, I'm here to make comment or support answers to questions. Not sure whether I may comment now or later in the agenda. I think we addressed that issue. And I think Mr. Korsak, you have your hand raised. And then, hi, this is Andy Imparato, the Executive Director of Disability Rights California. Christian, Karen, and I are all happy to stay on for the whole meeting and answer any questions that may come up about our carryover request. Thank you guys for that offer. We appreciate it. Dave said that I'm saying his last name well. And then Selena said she has a public comment when appropriate. So I will let Mr. Korsak go, and then Selena, when you're ready. Go ahead, Mr. Korsak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. My name is David Korsak, and I figured I would just make public comment now and then obviously stay around to help answer any questions down the road. But I'm the Chief Financial Officer for CRLA, who's served rural California communities for 55 years this year. I appreciate the opportunity to make public comment before the commission related to our estimated forecast of carry forward of our 2021 award into 2022, which is a request of 49% of our 2020 IOLTA award. A couple things with regards to us that we experienced in 2021 is employee retention. So the challenges with the Great Resignation and the competitive job market has contributed slightly to us expending the 2021 IOLTA award in 2021. It's not a major contributing factor, but it is partially a contributing factor to that. With the increase in client income eligibility from 125 to 200%, even kind of unknowing what that competitive market is going to look like in 2022, we feel that's going to help contribute to us being able to expand that carryover in 2022. In addition, we were very intentional in budgeting in 2022 to incorporate a carryover of IOLTA funding to support and stabilize our workforce in 2022. Right now in 2022, we're planning on a $3 million spend down related specifically to IOLTA. So if you divide that in half, that's $1.5 million in 6 months. Therefore, to be able to expend approximately $800,000 of carry forward, which is a forecasted amount, we still have Q4 we have to get through, so it could be less. But we'd be able to do that in 3.2 months. So we definitely have the ability to be able to expend. We respectfully ask you to consider the approval of that because it's built in to really be able to stabilize and maintain our workforce, not contribute to unemployment in 2022. So thank you for your time, and I will remain for any questions that come up in the agenda. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. I did have one quick question. I think in our chart, it looked like CRLA didn't provide an explanation for that. And I'll defer to Erica. Maybe that came in a little bit later. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's accurate. We didn't have it until yesterday, but I think Mr. Corsack kind of highlighted the same information that we received yesterday. So.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I understood that, whether we had gotten separate from the public comment. Okay, thank you very much.
And just to acknowledge, we did miss that in submitting. So apologies for that. That will not happen again in future years.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee at this point? Okay, I don't see any. Selena, you wanted to make a comment?
Sure, thank you. I wanted to speak, for those of you who are listening, I'm Selena Copeland, Executive Director of Legal Aid Association of California, for people who don't have access to the video. I want to speak in support of the staff recommendations to approve the carryover request. I trust that State Bar staff looked really closely at total budgets, at the reason for the carryover. And for those that are recommending deferring to the committee, what I thought might be helpful to have, if staff has it handy or if people can answer, is what percentage the carryover is of their total budget. Because I think for some of those, relatively large carryovers, it actually represents a pretty small amount of their total budget size, which would perhaps give the committee more information about whether or not they can spend down the funds. And for those that may feel on the cusp, I think that's actually where you could focus more of your questions, because I think that some of these seem like pretty large carryovers, but the organizations themselves are quite large. And then some of the carryovers that feel mid-size maybe for smaller organizations, and you may want to ask a little bit more about their confidence in spending it down. I do want to acknowledge that we've talked a lot about carryover and organizations that carry over year after year. And I think that's something that we need to be messaging more to programs, that if they are concerned about the size of IOLTA awards every year, that is y'all's job to manage the total IOLTA pot. And if there is a concern about scarcity or worry that IOLTA awards are going to go up and down, I think that's something that we need to work with programs to assure them that the 2021 was 2020 was a very atypical year, and for the most part, IOLTA awards are more stable than that. So I think that does need some community messaging, because I do think that there are some concerns about awards going up and down, and at least recently it's been a lot more stable. And I'm happy to work with bar staff. I know we've been talking about IOLTA reserve policy, and I think that's a good project for 2022. But all in all, I support the staff recommendations for approval. And I think that from what I've heard and from what I've read, those that defer to committee, I feel pretty confident that the organizations who believe they can spend the money would be able to do so.
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. Thank you, Selena. I appreciate the comments. Bob, will let you go, and then I have a couple things from the chat that I want to add. Go ahead.
So this is Bob Plantel. As background, I spent 7.5 years on San Francisco's Open Government Task Force, where we dealt a lot with public comment. The standard training and impression we had was public comment was just that, comment. And we were instructed not to respond. But beyond that, we're suddenly getting advocacy statements about later items in the agenda. I think people are getting ahead of themselves when they start to say, do this, do this, do this in public comment, as opposed to bringing it up at the time the agenda item comes up. It's like 2 bites of the apple. And I know we want to help every agency and they can say what they want, but then when we get into advocacy, from a non-grantee, that's bothersome as to the true intent of public comment as opposed to advocating on an agenda item when it's up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Appreciate your input on that. And I take your point. Let me read these chats and then I'll let Zahira make her comment. And then to your point, we'll try to move into the actual agenda items. So in the chat, there's one from that says from Danita Melton. So my name is Danita Melton, administrator of Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance, Inc. I'm here in place of our Director of Finance, Tim Denari, who is currently on another meeting. I'm hoping Mr. Denari will be able to join shortly in the event you have any questions. So thank you, Ms. Melton, and we appreciate Mr. Denari hopefully being available when we get to that agenda item. Thank you. Zahira, your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. You know, I just wanted to echo what Bob shared as well in terms of public comment, is that the way I've seen it before is that the initial public comment is for non-agendized items. And so that's a space for having that conversation. And so when we get to the agenda item, having public comment on that piece. I also just have a question in terms of the amount of time that we provide for public comment for each speaker. And if we've ever had a policy in terms of setting some sort of time limit for the length of time each speaker can speak with respect to public comment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Zahira and Bob. I appreciate the feedback. I'm still somewhat new to running these kinds of committees. And so I will do my best to implement those kind of policies and be more aware of the appropriateness of the types of comments that are appropriate in public comment. Bonifay?
Just 2 points. One is usually it's 1 to 2 minutes reserved per speaker for public comments. And the way in which we just move through public comments is how we've done so in the past, both on the committee level and commission level here at the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission. If the commission members want to change that, which I think I would agree with, because it does feel a little out of step at times. By the time we get to the agenda item, we may not have had all of the, still kept all of the essential words of the public speaker with us, especially in the commission meetings. That's potentially 3 hours after the public comments. So I think it might be something to explore in changing that going forward, but it would really need to be at the commission level to then move that into the committees. But agree with my colleagues and Zahira to answer your question. Just again, it's usually 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you.
Great. Thank you all for the feedback. I will try to do better as the chair and being more regulated on that. So I appreciate that, and apologies if this took longer than it should have. And Bob said, oh wait, sorry, there's a couple more comments in the chats. Hello everyone, this is Karen Keene, Finance Director with Disability Rights California. Carryover request is approximately 4% of DRC's $40 million annual budget. We'll stay on for the whole meeting to be available to answer any questions you may have about our carryover request. And then Bob said 3 minutes is recommended time for public comment, but can be lessened if there are a lot of speakers or a packed agenda. So I will be clear going forward that we'll keep it to no more than 3 minutes per person, unless if there's a lot of people. So thank you all for the feedback. That's helpful for me in learning how to do this job or to continue improving. Okay, so speaking of which, let's move to the substance of our agenda. So this is agenda item 3, IOLTA and EAF budget for grants year 2022. A is discuss and act on any remaining budget related issues. Erica, is there anything that we need to address on that agenda item?
No, I don't think there's anything else that needs to be resolved. One brief update I did want to give was, if you all recall from the last meeting on November 4th, we had some comment, and one was from Social Justice Collaborative, and they indicated that they weren't receiving emails from the State Bar. And I just wanted to follow up on that, and they actually have not been receiving our emails. Their information is correct in our system. It's some sort of technical glitch, but they just asked that we share that with the committee, that was a real issue that's ongoing, but we are now working with them to fix it and make sure that they are getting the information that they need. So
Great.
I think Dawn has
Any other issues?
Dawn has something she wants to.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to add that, yeah, that was a technical glitch. However, though, we do post our admin calendar on our the Smart Simple website, and then so there is an expectation that if they're not receiving emails, that you know, it's posted where everything is due. So.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that update. And any questions or comments from the committee? Okay. Let's move to B, recommend approval or revision of remaining 2022 IOLTA EAF budgets to Legal Services Trust Fund Commission. Erica, defer to you to give us the information on that.
Sure. So as we mentioned at the last meeting, staff has completed review of the rest of the budgets and was able to sort of tie up all the loose ends on those. And so we've confirmed that everything's been finalized at this point, and staff would recommend that the committee recommend approval of all 103 budget proposals that were listed in the attachment to the meeting materials.
Are there any questions or comments on that recommendation from committee staff or from the committee members? Apologies.
Okay, Catherine will make a motion to approve the staff recommendation of approving all the budgets.
Bob Planchel seconds with recusal for Bay Area Legal Aid.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Catherine.
Connolly?
Yes, but not as to CLUSPA.
Oklagi?
Yes.
Fightmaster?
Yes, with recusal on Sonoma County Legal Aid and Law Foundation of Silicon Valley.
Bennett?
Yes.
Blakemore?
Yes, with recusal for Disability Rights California. Thank you.
Friedman? Mann?
Yes, with recusal for Disability Rights California and LACPA.
Meeker?
Yes, with recusal for Public Law Center.
Lantold?
Yes, with recusal for Bay Area Legal Aid.
The motion passes.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to staff for all their hard work on reviewing all the budgets and getting everything packaged for us. We really appreciate all of your efforts on that. Okay, so now we can move to agenda item 4, the 2021 IOLTA EAF budget revisions and carryover requests, which we've had some discussion about, and it sounds like this is the more appropriate place for that discussion to have occurred. So why don't we get into it now? For agenda item A, discuss and recommend approval or revision of 2021 budget revisions and carryover requests in excess of 25% of 2020 grant award to Legal Services Trust Fund Commission. Erica, do you want to give us the lowdown?
So the budget revision and carryover forms were released at the end of September and due back on October 29th. Requests that we receive that are between 10 and 25% are requests that staff is able to review and approve. Anything above 25% is what comes before the committee and the commission for approval. This year we received 34 requests. Only about half of those actually needed review and approval, and an even smaller subset is what you saw in your materials for the committee to review. This is probably about a third of the requests that we received last year, so it's definitely a smaller number of organizations seeking these revisions and carryovers. And you know, the ones that are listed as deferred to committee, sort of the rationale behind those was either based on discussions we've had in the past where the dollar amount is very large, or the percentage of the carryover or budget revision is very high in comparison to others. If we felt that an explanation was lacking or was insufficient and needed more information from the organization, or in the case of Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance's budget revision, they actually had a deviation from the proposed expense ratios, like we discussed at the last meeting. They had deviated from the personnel and non-personnel ratio and fallen below that 75% or more recommended amount. Their personnel amount for their budget revision is 52% personnel and 48% non-personnel. And they did provide some additional information, which I'm happy to read to you, or they may want to speak to it, however the committee would like to receive that information. But we did get some more information from them on that. Staff is generally recommending approval of the budget revisions and carryovers. As you know, the committee passed a resolution earlier this year indicating that it would take these requests, the larger or more significant requests, on a case-by-case basis, based on the stated need for the carryover or revision, the direct or indirect effects of the pandemic, changes in client needs and the like. So staff kind of took an eye to that when reviewing these requests and making the recommendations. So again, the ones that were deferred to the committee, it was generally one of those three reasons: either just the size of the request itself, missing or insufficient explanations, or in the case of GBLA, it was another concern like the deviation from their recommended expense ratios. So
great. Thank you, Erica, for that summary. Very helpful. Catherine, you have your hand raised.
Thank you. And thanks for all the work that you did, Erica, and putting the materials together. I did not go through and do the individual kind of calculation of what the percentage of the carryover request was. And I wondered if that material was available to us. It seems sort of like, I think someone earlier made the point that a large amount for a larger organization might be a relatively similar percentage. And I just think it would be helpful to be able to focus on the percentages if that's available, or if it could be calculated for us.
Sure. So I have the percent of the award amount, but I don't have the percent off the top of my head of when you compare it to the organization's total budget.
Yeah, that's I was actually looking at as compared to the award amount. That's what I was looking at.
Yes, so in the case of CRLA, their percentage, it's for a 49% carryover. And Disability Rights California is 71%. Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice is 59%. And Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance, their EAF carryover is 76% of their EAF award.
And there is a note here from Dave Korzak at CRLA in the chat saying that the carryover is 4.2% of their annual projected budget for 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Korzak. Zahira.
Thank you. So I appreciate kind of hearing the piece in terms of the staff team, and again, sharing out those percentages in terms of the carryover. I think the question in terms of the percentage of the budget, it's not clear to me how that's relevant in this case, because in terms of the budget could include lots of different pieces that, speak to other sources of funding. And when we give out the funding, is it specific to their distribution for a certain county? Is that the case? Yes. And so the idea that we're looking at the statewide budget for an organization, when some of the carryover, it might be like more specific to a specific county in terms of the funding. I just think that, I just want to state it because it was raised earlier in terms of the comments, that looking at the budget and looking at a percentage of the budget, it doesn't seem clear to me that provides any level of information that's helpful in terms of making a decision. because it really is about their utilization of these resources. And they may have a very large budget that's due to lots of other things, but for them to use these resources in the county that they were assigned to use the resources in, I just don't understand why that larger budget would be relevant. So I just want to kind of dispel that, because I appreciate it being raised, but it doesn't, I don't know if that's a really useful kind of data point. Thank you.
Thanks, Zahira. Banashe?
Similar to Zahira, while I'm happy that we're trying to frame the issue, I think that what would make sense is for us to take, I'd like to propose that we take each of the organizations that have been deferred and start to review them, get a sense of staff's input, their recommendations, and get a better sense. And some of them are here today, so we can ask them specific questions as well. But I think that might serve us for timing. I think there are, how many? I was trying to look through. There's about 5 of them. Did I count that correct, Erica?
It looks like there's, 4 in the IOLTA carryover, 1 in the budget revision for IOLTA, and then, so that's 5, and then 1 in EAF carryover.
Okay.
So 6 total, yeah.
Okay, 6 total. If we could do that, that would be great. I know Jim's got a question.
Yeah, let me let Jim have it, and then I think that's a great suggestion, and we can go through. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I just, especially when we're talking about the ones with the larger amounts, when we get to them, I would like to know what percentage it is for their total budget, because the pandemic was a very unusual year. We were also encouraging these organizations to carry over a lot because we didn't know what the stability of the funding was going to be. And so I think this is an atypical time. And if it's a small percentage of their overall budget, it seems to me that shows that they'll be able to pretty well absorb it, as opposed to if it's a large percentage of their overall budget, that seems to me that they're going to have less ability to absorb that money and be able to actually spend it within this next year. So I would like that bit of information.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. Okay, let's do a couple more comments, and then I think to Banashe's point, I'd like us to move into actually talking about the specific ones so we can address issues with each one and decide how we want to handle them. So Dwan and Zahira, and then let's move into the.
I just have a quick, just to clarify for the record, I believe what the commission and the committee last year is approved generously, but we didn't actually encourage carryovers. We always want to spend down funds so that services can be provided, but we were liberal in our acceptance approval.
Thanks, Ron. Zahira?
Yes, thank you. I also just want to kind of address this piece, because I think the assumption in terms of whether an organization is a large organization or a small organization, for a small organization, it's about staffing. Like, this is all about mostly like personnel, like how many people do you have to actually do the work? And for a small organization, if it's a larger percentage of their budget, it means that they're actually actively bringing in more people. For a larger organization that may not be actively hiring more people, it's the distribution of income of the expenses throughout the people who are already there, who might also already be charged to other grants, and they can't additionally charge them here, which is why I don't think it's a helpful data point. Happy, if we want to spend time discussing it, but we're building in a lot of assumptions where we don't understand kind of the pieces behind it. And so making a decision on some of those assumptions, it's incomplete information, and it's information that doesn't actually speak to the capacity of each individual organization or the region in which they're hiring from. Thank you.
Thanks. Bob, and then can we move in? Yeah.
So I want to call attention, it's 10:40. The discussion about looking into each of these and getting reasons why is important, is helpful, but can or should we put a timeline on each item, 10 minutes or X minutes? Because we're supposed to end by noon for a full commission meeting, unless Dwan or somebody can contact the commission co-chairs to say, can you push back the start from noon to 12:30? Because I'm saying if we just talk on each one without some time extension or a time restriction on each item, we're gonna run past noon and not complete everything.
Sure. Well, why don't we actually move into it? And why don't we do 5 minutes per each of them to get it going? And that will get us through 30 minutes. And that gives us 30 minutes to have any further discussion before we have to wrap up. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate the feedback on that. And you're right, we should get into it. Ooh, I am not doing a good job today, according to what's happening.
You're doing an excellent job, Erica. You're doing an excellent job.
Yes, beautiful job.
So Erica, please get us into the particulars.
Sure. So the first one was Asian Americans Advancing Justice, Los Angeles. That one, actually, I think that staff would recommend approval on that, having gone back to look at it again. So I don't know if I have anything else to add on this request. So I don't know if anybody wants to discuss it further, but we would actually recommend approval on that one.
Any comments or concerns on this one? Pamela?
A question that I hadn't really heard a response to was what they have here in returns to the PPP loans. I wanted to kind of know how that impacted each of the grantees and their budgets.
Yeah, so my understanding with the PPP loans is that many organizations received them and they had a specific amount of time in which they needed to spend them. And it was a, you know, it's unlike IOLTA and EAF, there is no carryover option. They either had to spend it or would not have that money available to them. And so organizations prioritized using those loans before spending IOLTA and EAF. So I think that was probably one of the factors in decision-making about the possibility of carrying forward that has been held out as a possibility for IOLTA and EAF, whereas that was not an option with the PPP loans. So I know perhaps some of these organizations on the call received PPP loans and maybe want to provide more specifics as to that, but that's generally my understanding about how that factored into decision-making in most instances.
Thank you.
Other questions or concerns about this first one? No? Okay, is everyone on board that we generally feel like it's one to approve? Okay, let's move on to the next one. We did it in less than 5 minutes. Good job, us. CRLA.
Yes, so California Rural Legal Assistance, as I mentioned, they're requesting a 49% carryover of their $1.6 million 2021 grant for IOLTA. I received an update from them yesterday. As was already acknowledged, we didn't receive an explanation for the carryover initially, but I'll just read the explanation that I got. And then also you heard from Mr. Korsak already about the need, but what was sent to staff was the COVID-19 pandemic has and is continuing to have impact on our organization related to voluntary turnover, where we believe may be attributable to the Great Resignation. Specifically related to the demand in attorney workforce, the market has created competition with increased compensation expectations where we cannot compete. In addition, due to the volatility of funding for legal aid organizations, CRLA has positioned itself to carry forward funding into 2022 to maintain continuity in meeting rural California civil legal service community needs by preserving our current workforce. As far as, you know, as I mentioned, staff decided to defer to the committee given the size of the dollar amount of the carryover. It's about $800,000. And California Rural Legal Assistance and Disability Rights California are the two largest grantees under IOLTA and EAF funding. And so I think that was part of the consideration as well when looking at carryover from year to year, at least from 2020. The carryover from 2020, sorry, I'm just pulling that up. Last year's carryover was 1.28 million. So organizations had the entirety of this year to spend down their 2020 carryover. Typically, it's restricted to 6 months, which is what we will be returning to next year. But that was the amount of carryover last year. This year, there is another large carryover request, but it's smaller than last year's. So, yeah.
Questions? It looks like Catherine, you have your hand raised.
Thank you. I think a piece of this is sort of the level of confidence that the program will be able to kind of catch up at the point, that we're through this next year. And I don't know whether you've asked Erica the programs that question. It's certainly fine if you haven't. Many of them are seemingly on the phone call, but I think the larger picture for me is trying to get back to a situation where, as the pandemic subsides, that we are actually spending the money in the year in which it's granted. I'm generally, want to be flexible with what's happened this year to programs because people just didn't know at the beginning of the grant year. And I think there's been a lot of turnover from my knowledge of lots of legal services programs of staff. But for me, it would be important to understand the level of confidence the program has and the bar staff has in the capacity of the program to spend the remaining funds, as well as the next year's grant award, the proposed grant award. So if we could just get some information about that, that would be helpful in my decision-making process.
Sure. So all of these organizations have expressed the ability to spend it down, or their confidence that they can spend it down, and they understand that it's in a 6-month period, that the carryover from 2020 was an exception in that they had 4 quarters instead of 2 to spend down. And so with the understanding that this would need to be completed by the end of June of 2022, all of these organizations believe that they are able to do it. I don't necessarily have a reason to not believe that they can. And certainly if the committee were to approve the carryover and if the organization didn't spend it down, then at that point, those funds would be returned and then redistributed in the next funding cycle. So yeah, I don't have, I can't say that I've, yeah, I guess, as I said, I don't have any reason to doubt their ability if they're saying that based on their projections.
So thanks for that. And I guess to the extent I'm not expecting you to have a crystal ball about what happens with the amount of money, which is, for the upcoming year, but it would be helpful, I think, to hear from the program. So you have to spend this money by June. That gives you, sort of, you have this new money coming in that you then have to spend within that same grant period. And I at least would appreciate hearing from the programs that are on the phone. I think we heard something from a couple of them earlier about their capacity to spend the current year money and not end up in a place where there's a large carry forward for the next year.
Thanks, Catherine. I'll let Dwan make a comment, and then Mr. Korsak, if you're able to address some of the questions that Catherine had, that'd be great.
Yes, I just want to concur with Erica Carroll said that I don't think we have a concern that they won't be able to spend it in the first 6 months, but I think where the concern lays, this is why we're deferring to the commission, is that they won't be able to spend down in 2022, and then there will be then yet again another large carryover, and then yet again we're moving it now into a pattern where there's an expectation that there's going to be an approved carryover. And I know last year when the commission did it, we're still in the midst of the pandemic. We typically don't approve carriers of this size, and I know we're trying to be flexible, but I think the concern for staff is that it's that going into moving into the 2022, that there's then going to be carryover into 2023, and then those are large amounts of money, then we can't distribute it and another program can use it. At the same time, we are going to be asking the legislature for an increased funding, and optically, that might not be great for us as a community.
So well said, Dwan. That's exactly the question I was trying to get information about. So thank you.
Yeah, so Bonachie, if you don't mind waiting, I'd like to let Mr. Korsak address Catherine's point.
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Catherine, for raising that up. The assurance is yes, we will be able to spend it down within the 6 months. I also hear Duane as relates to the concern on the optics related to State Bar with regards to grantees continuing to carry forward funding into future years, and what that looks like when you're trying to go back to the table and requesting more dollars for legal aid organizations. And our commitment is to not be in that position going forward into 2023 and so on. So it's a very unique situation with regards to the pandemic that we've experienced as a legal aid organization. We're still living that life right now, and we're respectfully requesting some understanding related to us getting through 2022 around this request.
Hey, so Mr. Kurtz, and I'll just ask this question really quick while we have you. I guess the issue is not necessarily can you spend down the carryover in the first 6 months, it's can you spend the whole amount of the year's worth of money, the carryover plus your allocation of next year in the next 12 months?
Yes, our feeling that is we're going to be able to do that. We have an estimate right now at 800,000. We still have Q4 that we have to get through. So the likelihood is it may most likely be less than that. But we're being conservative in our forecast. That's why we're at that number right now.
And is that because you're expanding your programs in some way that you didn't this year, just because it is such a large amount that you're moving forward? What I guess we're curious, what are the plans to absorb all of the money?
Yeah, so the plans to absorb all the money is, one, to be able to determine where we are through the end of the year, and that dictates what available funding we actually have to support focused investment, throughout the regions that we serve in California. So we have a plan, and then we also have some scenario plans that are built on top of that as it relates to how that investment fluctuates or changes, so that we can quickly get ourselves around the execution of spending those dollars prudently and supporting rural California.
Great. Okay, I'm sorry, I took over, and I should let Vanashay and then Selena and then Pamela. Go ahead.
Thank you. I didn't actually hear specifics to your question, Erica, in terms of what are those plans. It seemed pretty high level. But I think this is starting to, beg the question for us to start to look at, when do we say we're going back to the way in which it's been, which is no more carryovers, or at least not large carryovers. For us to reevaluate what carryover is going to look like going forward. So, to Catherine's point, I think for sure we want to support the organizations at this critical time. We want to partner with them as much as we are able to, but we sit in a balance here where we are oversight, regulatory, and we have mandates, and that we're constantly trying to balance that, right, with serving the communities and the organizations within our rubric here. So I think, listening in on at the beginning of the call during the public comments and listening a little bit more now, I think what I'm starting to question is, we gave the runway because of 2020. And, I was one of the vocal ones that we need to do that. And now I'd like to say that I'd like to bring to the forefront, for this committee, and then bringing it to the commission meeting, whether this afternoon or in the next commission meetings, what do we want to do in terms of rolling back to our own policies and mandates? I don't have the answers for that. I just wanted to bring it to, because it's in the foreground of my mind. It might be of some of the other committee members as well.
Great. Thanks, Vanashay. Those are really good points. Selena?
I'll keep my comment short, don't worry. I've heard from several programs, and I believe that CRLA is one of them, that one of the challenges in the past recent year was the inability to bill expungement, record clearance, and other work to other IOLTA and Equal Access Fund grants when they had in the past. And so it created a bit of a budget issue where they were using unrestricted dollars and other dollars to pay for the work that had previously been billed to state bar funds. but I've talked to several programs and many of them plan to actually increase their expungement and record clearance work in 2022. Or if it's work that they're doing now, they'll be able to not be using their unrestricted dollars. So that does have a huge budget impact, especially on organizations that have very large expungement practices, especially for veterans, where they may be able to hire legal workers and not have as many challenges hiring lawyers to do that legal support for record clearance. So I think that may be relevant for the budget considerations and concerns about continued carryover if they're building their expungement practice.
Thanks, Selena. Pamela?
Bonachet echoed what I was going to say at the very top of what she spoke. We didn't hear about the specifics, which is what the question was. So always hearing those specifics to the clients is very helpful.
Mr. Corsack?
Yeah, so the specifics with that are we have, I'm trying to go back and look at our records, so try not to hold me to it, but there's about 6 positions that are currently frozen at the moment right now. And, you know, once we identify, you know, what the dollar amount is specifically, we're already ready to be able to pull the trigger and post for those positions and get those filled specifically. So some are higher management positions, and then some are positions that are staff attorney and community worker positions. So, so those are the specifics as it relates to us just kind of waiting to get the confirmation so we can then pull the trigger and bringing those positions in to serve the public.
Thank you. Catherine?
Thank you. I think to Bonachet's and Pam's good point. I think one of the things as we're thinking about what to do going forward, which is a little bit different than what we're doing right now, is looking at these, is to, you know, change the expectation of what people provide to us so that we get in advance kind of the specific plans that they have to spend not only the carry forward, but the other grant amounts, so that we can make sure, because that really goes to sort of our, I'll just say kind of quasi fiduciary duty to make sure that the funds are spent on the intended programs. So we, just as a piece of that larger discussion about kind of resetting as we're moving out of the pandemic to ensure that we end up in a place that we can have more specific information for, let's say, requests that exceed 25% about the plans to spend the money in a concrete way. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just note, this is something Erica, Carol, and I discussed briefly in the prep for this meeting, which is the Smart Simple question doesn't ask what you're going to do with the money forward. It only asks why you didn't spend it back. And so we were discussing that we think that needs to change, and that the explanation really needs to be both. Why didn't you spend it? Because that's important for us to know where there might be issues, but also what you're planning to do going forward, because we want the money going out for services. So appreciate you raising that. And that might be something to change going forward. Okay, Dwan and then Jim. And then I think after those 2 comments, we should start to move into where we want to be.
And I just want to point out that your 2 options aren't just to approve and deny wholly. You can approve up to X amount. One thing that occurred to me that, you know, right now as I'm listening to you, I mean, this isn't something that the staff has wrestled with what the recommendation is, and we actually couldn't land on consensus, and that's why we're bringing it to your attention. But one other option is that if you do go to approve all of them, perhaps Erica Carroll, Erica Connolly, and myself can draft a message that's very clear to the programs that have these larger carryover requests, that next year, if you do request another carryover request, there's a good chance that you probably won't be approved. So it's everybody's on notice. It gives them that runway. It doesn't create kind of the precedent that we will be approving it year after year. I'm just throwing that out there as another option.
Yeah. Jim, thank you, Dawn. That was a good suggestion.
Yeah, and I like that too. I like the idea of giving them notice that we're going to start phasing out this extraordinary pandemic impact in terms of carryover, but at least it gives them notice. But in my opinion, given this is a large statewide program, the $800,000 that they're carrying over approximately just seems like, given their overall budget, would be fairly easy to absorb, especially if they've got the number of positions open that Dave mentioned. So I'm in favor of it.
And I should note, Mr. Corsick actually put a comment in the chat that I haven't read yet, which says regarding Ms. Mann's comment about the by-county lens, is that our costs by county exceed what we are awarded by IOLTA by county. The additional costs are covered through LSC and other funding we receive. Okay, so and I will just say to the point about notice, I think that maybe this is like a transition phase. You know, we've moved from 1 year to 6 months, right? So at the end of the 6 months, whatever isn't spent comes back to us. I think if we communicate that, like, you know, this is kind of it, you get 1 more year of kind of this extra fund, and then we're not really going to keep pushing it over. That might be the way to provide that notice, give everybody an awareness of what's going on. And also, I think we should request that staff amend the explanation that they need to give going forward on carryover requests, just because I think that's a better standard for us on whether to approve or not. Catherine?
And I think just the last thing is to ask staff to work with the programs to ensure that for this year that they have clear plans about how they're going to spend the carryover plus the money that in the new grants, so that even though the application, I mean, even though the carryover request didn't do that, that we can have certainty that there is in fact a concrete plan to do that, so that we're not kind of trying to revisit this next year. So I think all of the things you said plus that would make me feel confident about we're moving in the right direction and sending the proper message in terms of our oversight role. Thanks.
Thank you. Bonnerstein, you have a comment?
Yes, Duan, that's the question for Duan. Going back to the suggestions that you were making, thank you, by the way, for those suggestions. If we didn't want to approve in whole or deny in whole, what would be a staff recommendation in terms of a happy medium, taking the you know the full picture into consideration that we've been discussing?
I mean, Erica, Carol, and I were, discussing this. That's a really difficult question. You can always approve up to the amount of the other staff recommendation that's that we're just recommending for approval. So then that's like the highest amount that you'll go up to. But then that doesn't take into consideration, sometimes the amount is large, but the percentage might be below 50%. So it doesn't take into account those variances. But that was one option, I think, right, Erica, that you and I had proposed, maybe perhaps that would be the staff recommendation, and then we pulled back on that.
Can I just make a point here? I'm a little concerned that pulling a number kind of out of the air for particular case by cases feels pretty arbitrary. So if the organization can say, look, this is the money we for example, here are the 5 staff positions and this is the money, I'm fine with connecting it with something, but I'm a little concerned about just kind of setting some limit without having like an explanation other than that's what we did for everybody else. And maybe that's good enough, but I'm just concerned about that being a little bit arbitrary. So I'm not saying we shouldn't consider doing a partial, but we really need to, I think, have a good reason to
well, we do,
reduce it. Yeah.
To that point, we do that. We say no more than X percentage as a policy that may seem pretty arbitrary across the board. So we can give a percentage across the board for these 5 or 6. I know we didn't do that for the others that have already been approved. So that may be your point, is that those others that were approved weren't being held to that same standard. I think where I'm having a challenge is the amounts are large.
Yeah.
And having run a legal services organization in the past, I'm mindful of, not wanting to pull it from them completely, but also moving in the direction of the notice that we're starting to give. So finding a happy medium, I think, is a good starting point, rather than where it looks like it might be going, at least for these 2 organizations, and we haven't gotten to the other organizations yet to hear from them or to hear from the staff as to their recommendations, that it might end up being that we're going to approve them all as is. So just I wanted us to kind of balance it.
Sure.
As we're having this discussion.
Okay. Catherine, and then Erica, and then Bob. And then I assume that we need to move on So,
And there is a comment from Susan Podesta regarding a CRLA. She's their grants coordinator or grants manager and provides further context.
So I think the question of should there be an absolute outside limit is worthy of consideration. It feels to me like a little challenging to come up with an outside limit kind of in the moment today. And I don't think, that was not information we provided to the programs. I mean, certainly I think people know it's discretionary, but I guess I feel like the bigger question of sorting this out and being clear about the rules going forward is really at least equally important to what we do today. And maybe there's a rule that says no request above this limit will ever be considered. And know that if you essentially you don't spend it, you're not going to have that money. That may be where we want to go in the future. I don't personally think that we should impose that kind of policy today without just stepping back and thinking about what it means. And I'm much more focused on assurance that people will actually spend not only the carry forward, but the full amount of next year's grant as the step we should take this year.
thanks, Catherine. Erica?
I think Catherine actually largely touched on what I was going to say, which is that, Dwan and I did have those discussions about whether it would be appropriate to set a limit, but given the variability in the size of these organizations, it would be hard to do that at this point without further analysis. And again, even though there is no, it may be reasonable to set a limit, that was not necessarily messaged this year. And for all the other reasons that have been mentioned, that there is still kind of this transition period that, organizations were really impacted last year and were allowed to, have a significant amount of carryover, and perhaps it is going to start working itself out in subsequent cycles. But that's why staff did not actually make a recommendation about setting a limit this time. That it maybe we would agree that it's something for the committee and the commission to discuss further, but that we couldn't come up with a number that didn't necessarily seem arbitrary at this particular point in time.
Thanks, Erica. Bob?
So to me, the concept of setting some sort of limit ought to be more on a percentage of the unspent money as opposed to a dollar amount. But beyond that, we haven't yet done any analysis. Like, is 20% a good limit? 25%, 30%? It almost seems if we come up with any sort of percentage restrictions today, it's arbitrary. It's not founded on, let's say, any funding or accounting analysis. I think we ought to set some sort of carryover limit, but not today, because we whatever percentage we come up with, some of the grantees therefore might not get all that they wanted to carry over. And could they have a reason to say, you just acted on the spur of the moment to pick X percent? We got to do something, but I think today isn't the day, regrettably. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Dawn?
Yeah, I agree with that. And, when I was building out the work plan for the rules committee, we are going to be hopefully tackling the carryover and budget revisions issue next year at the rules committee. And I was trying to find some information on why 10%, why 25%, and there wasn't anything memorialized, at least at the trust fund commission. I mean, it's a nice number, but I'm having a hard time also like connecting why the 10% staff, 25%. I think maybe it's logical, but there's not, so I think this is all to say the rules committee will be looking into this to seeing whether we should stay with those percentages. Maybe there's an absolute cap. I don't know, but I agree with Bob. Having not done that analysis, we don't have that information to provide you right now.
Okay, so if I might suggest, I don't know, I'm trying to take the temperature of the committee, and I'd like us to kind of keep moving forward with these given past time considerations. I do think this discussion is going to apply to most of the rest of them. It seems to me as if maybe where we're at is we will do the approval this year on a 6-month. We will look into whether there should be a more strict limit going forward, and we will communicate to the organizations that this is it. We're not doing more carryover requests in 2022. If you can't absorb the money, it needs to go back in the pot and get redistributed to everybody else. Is that kind of where people are at? Is anyone concerned with that or need more? And Catherine, I know you wanted me to make sure there was plans for how they were going to absorb the money, right?
Yeah.
But is that like a contingency to the approving the motion? Or is that just like something we should talk
I just
about?
feel like those things that you said to me are, like, it would be a motion to approve the carry forward request with the following things noted. And it's the ones that you said, plus plan that the programs can show plans that they're going to spend the money. I mean,
So I guess what the only thing, and I'm not challenging you on this, I just want to make sure I understand is it that the approval is contingent on them giving us a plan?
I think I would have them
Okay.
give a plan that says, here's how we're proposing to spend the money. And, I know we've heard from CRLA about their plan. I mean, they said they're going to unfreeze positions. I'm not asking for a lot of information. Disability Rights California, I remember from the public comment, sort of said, here's the new things we're doing that's going to spend this money and next year's money. I look at this from two lenses, being sympathetic as a former legal services legal director to the problems people had this year. And I also look at it from our obligation to explain to a more general audience, including the legislature, that we carried out our duties. And I think by saying we're approving it, it was still the pandemic, but here's how people are not going to be in a concrete way. They gave us plans. They don't have to be detailed line by line, but here's what we're doing, makes me feel like we can cover both. So yes, contingent.
And I'm assuming this is just the ones that are deferred. Is it all the ones that are deferred to committee?
I feel like the ones we have responsibility for are the ones that are referred to the committee.
Okay,
So
no, that's fine. So we would do that for all of them, whether we have questions or not. So Asian Americans Advancing Justice should also be submitting something, right? I think.
I would. I just think treat them all the same.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it's better to treat them the same. Dawn?
I just have one question. If we go with Catherine's suggestion, and I do think I have confidence that most programs, if not all, will be able to give us a plan, but what if there's an organization that can't, or is really slim in details, then what happens?
Yeah, one suggestion that I think we had talked about was maybe delegating authority to a couple of the committee members to do that kind of review and essentially allow them to say yes or no, and then make the recommendation to the full commission at the next commission meeting in December and sort of spearhead that. That's my suggestion on how to handle that.
That makes perfect sense, Erica.
Yeah, I'm happy to be the person. I'm also happy to let other people do it. It's not, I have no quest for additional tasks, but if other people are busy, I'm happy to work on that with another. But I think it's good to have maybe two committee members do that. Pam and then Bob, and then let's move forward on.
I'll be brief. I just wanted to add items that I'm going to say to not include items that were not approved in prior discussions. So don't include items that were not approved in prior discussions for this data.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Like, make sure you're doing your homework on what we've said yes and no to before. Yeah, I agree with that. Bob?
I don't know that a committee chair has authority to delegate, if you will, authority. I suggest that anything be done like with the commission co-chairs in conjunction with this committee chair, consider delegating to X or Y on our committee. No offense, I don't know that you have the authority, and that could be challenged by somebody. Whereas if we have the commission chairs do it in conjunction with you.
I will say
really quick, the staff have the authority to put together a working group of sorts to work with them on this, if that is where we decide to go.
Right, but also can't the committee as part of the motion delegate authority, or am I wrong on that? I wasn't saying I would do it myself. I was saying.
Yes, we can, Erica.
We can delegate authority to a couple of people.
Yeah, but yes.
Okay. I don't want to screw anything up, but I wasn't going to do anything unilaterally. My thought was, as part of the motion, we delegate. Okay. Given that very interesting discussion, do you want to kind of quickly run through the rest of the deferred committees? Why don't we go through them? I mean, given where we're sort of at, I sort of think we ought to just run through the rest of them. And then if people have particular concerns, we can address them at the end. But it seems like we've sort of come to somewhat of a consensus about how to treat this going forward. So to expedite it.
And I guess to the extent that there's people here from the other organizations, if they
Yes.
could speak to the items that we are interested in, like, yes, I'm going to spend the money. Here's the plan. We're doing it. That would be helpful.
That's great.
Just really quick, Erica, I'm not buying into this so I'm not in that space of consensus on this particular pathway that we're discussing. And I think it's important for us to move forward and hear from the rest and get the staff's recommendation and their thinking on the rest.
Fair enough. I didn't mean to speak that it was unanimous in any sense of the, or to presume that. Let's continue forward with the descriptions.
So the next organization was Disability Rights California. They're requesting to carry over 71% of their $2.3 million award from their IOLTA 2021 funding. As you heard, from the member of that organization, they sort of created a 3-year plan, it sounds like, and had some hiring issues. They had a hiring freeze, and so they didn't move forward with new positions. They had to cancel a few projects or put those on hold indefinitely that had been approved previously. And they had a carryover from 2020 as well that I believe they were focused on spending down first. Their carryover from 2020 was 1.68 million. So the reason that we brought this to the committee's attention was both the dollar amount as well as the percentage. After the first 2 quarters, staff had emailed organizations that had spent less than 25% of their awards, just to remind them about the need to spend down. And for IOLTA, I believe this is the highest carryover request percentage-wise. So we did have some hesitation around that, but the committee's been provided with more details today about their plans to spend the funding. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to invite one of the representatives from DRC to kind of address the question that we posed, in to CRLA, which is what are the specifics of how you plan to spend all the money that you would be allocated in 2022? Do we have people from DRC?
Yes, can you hear me? This is Karen, are you on? I think.
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi, Karen.
Okay, now you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot, but.
Okay, thank you. I'm Karen Keene. I am the Finance Director at Disability Rights California. And we, as Christian outlined earlier in the public comments, we do have plans to spend the carryover plus our upcoming 2022 award. As we noted in the public comments, we did have a number of positions that were frozen early on in the pandemic. And so when we learned about our new upcoming IOLTA award, as we looked at our budget for this coming year, our fiscal year 22, we did unfreeze many positions. We also added several new positions, including some LIC council positions, an increase in our intake, increase in our legislative advocacy, increase in our support to further broaden our services to the disability community. So between unfreezing the positions that we had frozen, adding new positions, as well as some one-time projects that we included in our 2022 budget application, we are confident that we should be able to spend both the carryover and the 2022 award next year.
Thank you. Questions, comments from Bonifay?
Just to be on the to be clear, are we talking about 1.65 million carryover? Am I doing the calculations correct, Erica?
Yes, I believe it's around 150 sorry, 1.5 or 1.6, but I'll double check right now.
Yeah, I think what I just did is 1.65 million carryover, plus what they will receive in 2022.
Yeah, that's correct.
And this is where my concern lies. I don't see how these funds can be spent down. And my concern is these funds can actually go to other organizations for redistribution now. So if there's anything further that the organization or the staff who's supporting carryovers can say to help with my thinking, this would be really great. I think Christian has something to say. His hand is up.
Yes. So one of the key differentials for us is we're a large organization that has over 300 staff. We are able to recruit, and we'll recruit statewide. We have 4 or 5 offices: Oakland, LA, Sacramento. We have, I think, around 20 regional centers. So you can rest assured we will spend this money. We will use this money to assist low-income clients with disabilities in California, and we have a plan to that. And we have no problem committing to what we've heard about, to submitting a plan, and to committing to no further carryover after this. The message is clear. I'm sitting here. I've listened to the message. We understand that we have 6 months, right? That this is where it's going, and you can rest assured we will follow that commitment, and we will use our resources, our offices, to make sure that our services expand.
Erica, may I ask another question just to follow up? Christian, thank you for the response. So here's my question to that. Why haven't you been able to spend it down now?
It was intentional strategy to avoid layoffs. We were scared of the economic climate, and it was designed to hedge our bet from the future loss of federal funding. We're a conservative organization, and we did not want to do layoffs. I mean, that was ultimately, I remember in May 2020, when I was sitting with Karen Keene, it's like, what are we going to do? We might have to do layoffs. So we developed a strategy to prevent layoffs and to maintain the stability of the organization, with the assurance that we would be able to spend it as we grow. So I think that was.
If you could just expand on what you mean by that. I'm not following. I'm a little slow this morning. If you could tell me a little bit more of what do you mean that was your strategy to avoid layoffs?
In May 2020, when the pandemic hit, when we got a big cut, we didn't know what was happening next. We didn't know if our federal funding was going to get cut. We didn't know if our trust fund funding was going to get cut. So we decided that the best strategy to prevent layoffs and to ensure the stability of our organization, which is a fairly large organization, we have statewide offices, we have huge infrastructure budget, was to try to preserve this money to see what happens next. Because at the time we were actually pessimists that the state bar funding, the federal funding was not going to be coming up again, and so we needed to preserve some money to ensure that our staff, we didn't have to do layoffs, right? And now that the situation changed, that it's very clear we're ready to spend that money, and we have plans to spend that money.
I will give it back to you, Erica. I don't want to take up too much time. I see more people have their hands up. Thank you so much, Christian, for answering the questions.
My pleasure.
Pamela?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand, didn't hear that. I wanted to say Bob. I'm sorry. Just a quick question of asking the organization if they received any PPP funding, and where did that land on their budget? Which particular line item, where did that land there, if they received any?
I do not. Go ahead, Karen.
This is Karen. We did not receive any PPP money. That money was really reserved for organizations that had lost funding. We still maintained our funding through the pandemic. We did have some loss of funding, the loss of the state bar funding when our grant was cut from 2020 to 2021, but we were fortunate in that most of our other funding sources remained relatively stable. So we do not have PPP money.
Thanks, Karen. Jen?
Oh, yeah. Could you tell me this 1.65 million that you want to carry over? Can you tell me what percentage that is of your overall budget?
It's about 4% of our overall budget.
Thank you.
Catherine?
I'm sorry, were you asking me? Yes. Thank you. There was a question from Selena that I thought was important to answer in the chat about, I mean, Bonachet was making the point, I think, that the funds could be redistributed now to other organizations. And I think Selena was asking a question that I don't know the answer to, is whether it would actually get redistributed now or whether it would get redistributed a year from now. And Selena, please correct me if I misunderstood your question.
Yes, I was just to clarify, because I think that if it is the case that it would be redistributed immediately, that is a slightly different calculus from whether it would be held on to and wouldn't be able to be used until the 2023 allocations are made. So it's just asking Stegler staff.
It's next year because we've already run the allocation. And so we wouldn't have time to reissue and budgets and so forth. So it'd be for next year for 2023.
You know, one thing I will just follow up on is, and we've sort of said this before, but I understand the pandemic was a very unique situation. I'm not entirely sure why 2020's cuts affect 2020, the carryover into 2022. And maybe I'm missing something there, but that, you know, you had some concerns, it got carried over. We were really flexible moving into 2021. And then you guys didn't spend it down in 2021. So I think that's another part. I'm not totally sure how May 2020 affects the spending now. And maybe I'm missing, it could be an accounting thing I'm just missing, but I just wanted to flag that.
I'm with you, Erica.
Yeah. And I before you answer, I want to let Zahira ask her, you know, raise her comment, because it might be something that you could adjust altogether. Zahira, go ahead.
Thank you. And this is more, you know, general, I think, in terms of looking at a number of these different organizations and the amounts is, you know, the piece in terms of I think I'm having also a lot of confusion, the same as with you, Erica and Bonachet, in terms of the actual spending it down, because once we carried over the money and it could be spent in 2021, the fact that for some organizations, those positions were still frozen and only now there would be some hiring associated with it, I just find, you know, very confusing. You know, I also just want to just kind of comment on the reference to the loss of state bar money from 2020 to 2021. So there was like a reallocation that happens every year, and there's an application process. So no funding was stripped from them. It just has to do with the amount of funding that's available. And so I think that what we've tried to do is look at our budget so that there's this evenness and there's this smoothing that happens from year to year, with 1 year being an anomaly. But I do think that in terms of the restating and the understanding of carryover from 1 year to the next, if some of the grantees believe that they were actually stripped of funding, I think we also need to correct that misunderstanding as well, because it wasn't a stripping of funding and it wasn't a loss of funding from the state bar. What it was a reallocation, which is what happens every single year.
That's a really good point, Sarah. And to the point, like we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to smooth that out so that organizations, if we do need to taper down, it's a taper, not a drop. And so that's a very good point. So I'll, you know, if you want to address our question about how May 2020 affects carryovers into 2022, please.
Sure, this is Karen. We did receive a very, very generous and large award for 2020. It was $5.4 million. And that was almost double what our 2019 award was. And so we made plans to hire significant amount of additional staff, as well as do some long-term capital projects on our building and some other infrastructure projects. We were in the process of starting those projects and starting to hire the staff in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And we were notified that there was going to be a significant reduction across the board for all of the IOLTA awardees because of the drop in the interest rates. And so at that point, we learned that we would probably have a drop of about half in our 2021 funding. And then there could be another drop in the funding in 2022, depending on what happened with the funds. And so we made a 3-year plan to not hire the staff we were planning to, and to kind of smooth that reduction in funding out across the 3 years. It's difficult to hire staff if there's going to be a funding reduction in the future, because you don't want to have, we didn't want to have to lay people off. So, we did in 2021, we did add some of the positions back that had been frozen. And then as we learned that our state bar funds, thankfully, were going to be increased in 2022, not decreased as we had been concerned about, we were able to then look at adding all of our frozen positions back, adding some new positions, adding some of our long-term projects back in. So that's how we sort of dealt with the variations in funding that we received over the last couple of years.
Sahara, you have a comment or question?
I do. And, for some of this, I think maybe it's just sort of like a math issue to figure out like what the amounts are that we're talking about it, because we had a year where there was an anomaly in terms of the size of funding. Then that year, in terms of the anomaly, also coincided with the pandemic. And so people weren't able to spend down the amounts of resources, which, from the speaker who just shared, it was twice as much as what was done before. And so I guess if then the next amount is an amount that is more like what we should be, what was more of like a regular type of like funding amount, and the piece in terms of being able to spend it down. I think the challenge that I'm having is that from these comments that we're hearing from the organizations, I'm actually hearing that there was too much money to spend. We can't spend it over time, and we can't hire to spend it over time. We will, but it's challenging because of the way that the money came out and being able to spend it. I don't hear anyone actually saying that, but that's what I hear within what they're describing in terms of how they're running their businesses, which is a completely logical way in which to run your organization. And so I think the challenge is, does the money then stay there for organizations, or does it revert back? Because really the issue that we have is that a lot of money went out in a particular point in time, more so than we usually go out, and it coincided with the pandemic. And so we're at this point now where the examples that we're seeing is that it seems like we should be recapturing that money so it can be redistributed to the various organizations. And what's being shared today is making that clearer to me, rather than continuing to carry over money that it's been challenging to spend and will continue to be challenging to spend for each organization because of what it means in terms of personnel and being able to sustain those personnel over time. Because the amount that we gave out that 1 year is likely not going to happen again. That was a very, very different year. And some of the projects that people came up with, capital projects, et cetera, we live in a different time right now. And so they may not actually be doing those projects. And so now we're trying to figure out how to spend large sums of money that are not going to be spent for the original purpose that when they were allocated for.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thanks, Sahara. Yeah, I mean, I think somewhat, not exactly what you're saying, but I think it is related in the sense that we talked about that we do not want a situation where organizations are creating reserves themselves to even it out over the years. And we sort of gave some exception to that during the pandemic, given the unique circumstances, but this sounds like a reserve that's sort of being pulled forward. And I'm not sure if I'm convinced that isn't from, that I'm not okay with that given the, situation that's going on. And perhaps it's just a matter of giving notice that next year is it. But I will say, I feel like some of this is understandably, like, you want to reserve. I totally get that from a business perspective, but we have to make sure the money's going out to services and not to a reserve. And that's our role. So anyway, Dawn and then Bonche. And then after Bonche, I think we need to move through the rest of these and start getting to consensus on, or at least getting some motion so that we know what we're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna do a time check because we have less than 25 minutes. And my suggestion is also to try to give everybody a break of 5 minutes at least between the two meetings if they want a bathroom break or eat. Myself, I'll probably need to hop off, but one thing, because I'm not sure if there is consensus. So one possible is maybe defer on the ones that staff has suggested to defer on, and perhaps a couple committee members can work with staff on getting the additional information. And this is somewhat of a policy question that I wonder if instead of calling another committee meeting, we preview it for the commission today, and then it'll roll back at the December meeting so that we've all had a little bit more time to sit with it. And then, I could separately talk to the co-chairs too. And then we can reconvene. So we have a little bit more time. So you don't feel rushed, but just a suggestion.
Yeah, thanks, Dawn. Bonachet?
That really pretty much was it. Because of the time, I think if we could just spend the next few minutes hearing from the other groups that are here and hearing about the other three, I think, that are left, and not table a vote, because I don't think we're in a place to be able to know where we're going to land on this, and create that working group, as was mentioned by you, Erica, and I'd be happy to support on that with you if you need another hand.
Great. Okay, let's run through the rest of them and give organizations an opportunity. And to the recommendation, I'm going to request at this point that the committee kind of withhold comments and questions somewhat so we can get the information. I will just ask for each of the other organizations that are on, if you can give us an explanation about how you plan to absorb the money next year. I think that's a consistent concern. Other than that, well, let's just get through the rest of it, and then we'll do our motion kind of with a working group. Erica?
So the next organization is Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance. They're requesting both an IOLTA and an EAF carryover. The EAF carryover is 76% of that award, and the IOLTA, I believe, is 29%. They're also asking for a 28% budget revision on IOLTA. And the explanation they provided was that they've had a lot of staff turnover. They have also had staff that were out on leave unexpectedly and unavoidably, which has impacted their spending on personnel. And then because their non-personnel items are tied to their staffing, they've underspent on non-personnel as well, which I guess precipitated the need for the budget revision, which, as I mentioned before, deviates from the recommended ratios. With their IOLTA carryover, they're allocating 52% of their IOLTA award to personnel, which is below the 75% or more recommended percentage. So I know that they're on the call, and I don't think they've had a chance to speak yet.
So I'm going to ask, sorry, because of time, if you could limit yourself to 1 to 2 minutes and sort of give us a quick overview and address some of the issues that we've been talking about, that'd be great. Is it Tim Denari? Oh, yeah, your hand is raised. I think you're able to speak.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. I'll talk fast.
I'll
Just
comments in the chat into the record when you're done, but yeah, go ahead.
Fair enough. Just a little tiny bit of context on our request. So even though it appears to be larger than it is, I think based on the increased size of our 2022 award. So for example, the 76% that we're requesting on EAF is actually 27% of our full award for 2022. And the 261,000, if you look at it in dollars, we're about a $5 million organization. So, and I'm not trying to minimize the impact or importance of trying to get this approved. I'm just trying to explain the relative size of the request we're making compared to next year's grant and compared to the size of the organization. Similarly with IOLTA, we're requesting 29%, 113,000. Next year's award is 602,000, so it's really 19%. And it's 113,000 on a $5 million budget that we think we can very readily absorb. As it relates to what precipitated this, I did give an explanation in writing that they can put in the record, so I won't bore you with repeating it. This is very strange. Maybe something is in the water in Bakersfield, but we've had just a number of people out on family leaves, and then extended family leaves, and then a baby bonding leave, which we're of course granting all those, and that makes it very difficult to keep a sustained paid staff at the levels that we want to. So we've done two things to remedy that as we come through the pandemic, which is still sort of going on here and affecting us. One is we've brought on a permanent position in a recruiter because our HR position is just not able to handle full-time trying to keep us staffed with, particularly in the attorney areas and paralegals. And secondly, we went to our board last month and revised our salary scales, because I think that we ended up being a little bit under market. And so we've increased those probably about 6% to allow us to be competitive with some of the bigger cities. Those two aspects, plus a couple of new programs that we have for EAF. And again, I won't bore you with the details because it's outlined in our 2022 budget. Between all those things, we think that we will be able to spend down the money both for EAF and IOLTA on the carryover, as well as spend all of our 2022 allotment.
Great.
Okay, I think my 2 minutes are up. I'll pause. Take a breath.
Thank you. I apologize that we're running short on time.
That's okay. No, we understand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Why don't we move to the next organization?
Yeah. Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice is seeking a 59% carryover on its IOLTA award. Of all the carryover requests that you're reviewing, this is the smallest award. The 2021 amount was about 95,000. I think given, the explanation that Jane gave, that their projection was a bit conservative, we do still have to see how the fourth quarter goes, and the fact that this is a smaller award, staff would probably be inclined to recommend approval of this one. But of course, if the committee has questions or wants to hear more on that.
Does anybody feel we need to have Ms. Bune respond on this issue? Okay. Why don't we move to the next one?
I think that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Greater Bakersfield was
got it.
Both IOLTA and EAF.
I guess so. At this point, it sounds like we're not a consensus, and then we might need some more information, and we might need some more thinking about what we want to do and how we want to transition away from a more liberal view last time. Are we somewhat in consensus that we can maybe delegate to a working group to go get that information, and then at the commission meeting, that can report back, and at the commission meeting in December, report out their suggestions? Does that sound reasonable to people?
Yes, find a way to delegate to somebody, some group, yes.
Okay. Other people, does anybody have concerns with that plan?
Okay. And what specifically is the working group's charge?
Yeah, that's the devil, right, in the details. It's not, I think what we need is more information from the groups that are deferred to the committee. And that information is about how they're going to absorb the money next year, including their 2022 awards, and also a consideration, I think, to Bonachet about whether we're going to allow these full, large carryovers, or whether there should be a more limited scope. Right? Am I correct on that being the concerns? Yeah. And I think we just need to give it to a couple people, 2 committee members is my suggestion. So we have, a diversity of views, and they can work with staff to get the information from the organizations. And then my other suggestion is the ones that the staff has recommended approval, we ought to just make a motion and approve those unless anyone has concerns about those. Catherine, you're on mute and I see you trying to talk.
Thank you. So the staff has approved one, I'm trying to understand when you say the ones staff has approved, that is the ones that were not referred to the commission because or the ones that they pulled out in kind of the middle of this discussion to say we might approve these, because I feel like it should, like, if something's referred to the commission, we should treat them all the same.
Okay.
I don't think we should in this moment, like, pull some out because it just, I don't know. It feels like they were referred to us and we should apply the same standards to them.
So this may be, you may be already saying this. I was differentiating between in the table, there's, 5 or 6 instances where it was deferred to the committee to make a decision. And then there were several other instances where staff recommended approval. And then there are other instances where staff already approved and are just providing us with information.
Right.
My suggestion, and I'm flexible on this, was that the ones where staff recommended approval, that we would approve those unless we have concerns, that we would take the ones that are deferred to the committee and put those to the working group. And obviously we don't need to deal with the staff approval ones. If, however, you're concerned that the ones that are recommended for approval ought to be treated the same as the one that were deferred to the committee.
No, thank you for your clarity. I am only talking about all of them that were deferred to the committee, including those where today the staff said on kind of second reflection, we might recommend approval. So if they were, I'm only speaking, everything that was deferred to the committee, I think should go to this working group. I am fine and will make a motion that we approve those that were recommended for approval by the staff on the chart and not deferred to the committee.
Okay.
Second that motion.
Okay.
Okay. So this is only dealing with those that were recommended for approval. I just want to make sure.
On the chart.
On the chart.
Okay, Connolly,
Yes.
Maflagi,
Yes.
Fightmaster,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Blakemore,
Yes.
Friedman, Mann,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes, and I volunteer for the working group.
Plantold.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Right. Okay, now let's get the motion together on the working group. So Jim, you wanted to volunteer and it sounded like, okay, Catherine also, and then Bonnershay, did you also? Like, we can have a 3-person committee if you guys, the 3 of you would like to do it. Okay, so let's put together a motion that would delegate the authority to the 3 of them to go and find out more information and from the organizations that were deferred to committee based on on what their plans are to absorb the funding in 2022, and more generally what our policy, if any, should be, or what our policy should be regarding carryovers into 2022 and potentially beyond.
Thank you.
I make that motion. Go ahead, Louise.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pamela. I'll second the motion.
Pamela and Catherine?
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
Oh, was what I said the motion?
Yes.
Well, we'll see if Mike come back and bite me. Thank you to the 3 of you for volunteering to do this.
And I'm sorry, I only got 2 of the volunteers. It was Jim and Bonafsha. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Catherine.
And Catherine. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And they will report to the commission in the December meeting. That's the goal. Okay.
And I just want to, first of all, thank you for running this. This was not an easy meeting.
Great.
Thank you very much for navigating us through this process. And if I can just put out, Zahira, if you want to be part of that working group, you had a lot of wonderful comments and insights. I'd like to invite you to consider.
Thank you. Sure, I'd be happy to help. Thank you.
Great. Then Bob, Pam, Louise, and we can kick back, right? I'm teasing, but
Any more, we risk getting close to a quorum of the committee.
I'm curious about whether you can have more than 2 members of the group working together. So I would defer to, parliamentarians or general counsel, but we definitely have a strong group.
Dan, it's actually a good point, which is why I was suggesting that if staff were to initiate the working group, we've had these questions in the past, if you remember, that if staff were to initiate the working group, then we can have a number of folks on that working group. So maybe we want to punt it back to Erica and Juan and have them reach out to the names.
That makes sense, Bonachet. So why don't we do that? Because I think that's the way, you're correct, that's been handled in the past. And I think they have the names of people that have expressed an interest in it and that they'll take that into consideration. So
just procedurally, we actually passed a motion
No, I
to do
understand
a thing,
that.
but
I
Did
understand
not
that.
pass it.
no, we didn't.
We didn't vote on it.
There was no vote. We just made and seconded a motion.
Okay.
And
oh, great.
I think that if necessary, Pam and I can withdraw our motion, or maybe it just dies because it was never voted on. Bob will tell us.
No, because it was seconded, you have to withdraw, or you
That's what I
should
thought.
withdraw.
I got it.
Withdraw
So
your second. And then
can I withdraw my second, or does the person making the motion have to withdraw first?
you can withdraw, either of you can withdraw.
I am withdrawing my second.
I'm withdrawing the motion.
Even
Okay.
better.
Good, see?
And
Nice and clean.
just to
Perfect.
clarify, we also
I
need-
love that we're kept in compliance with the rules that I struggle to understand. And thank you, Bonachet, for the reminder about the appropriate way to do that.
Yeah, and just to make sure we're clear, that's because this working group is only information gathering, not actually approving anything, right? Because it'll just
Correct.
bypass the committee and go directly to the commission for actual approval. Okay.
That is correct, although they could potentially, provide some thinking about what recommendations could look like. I think, right?
Actually, my suggestion, Erica, is that the working group do the fact gathering. We hold another meeting before the December meeting of this committee. We come forward and we share out our findings to the full committee. And you then, as our chair, then represent us at the full commission.
Okay, I'll defer to staff on whether we can stick another committee meeting on.
Right.
I'm fine with it that day. It's a long day, but it's always a long day. So
I think it depends on whether we
yeah.
can get a quorum, which we have failed to do in some other committees recently, and meetings have been. Anyway, so let's just leave that to the staff to sort out. Does that work?
Yes, but with the caveat, Catherine, that if we come up with our findings and we bring it to the commission, this committee will have a number of questions themselves. So if we're going to be moving into a vote on these outstanding 5, it may become bottlenecked. So we'll take it back to the staff, let the staff take a look at the calendar and what's possible. But in the meantime, I think we've gotten to 5 minutes before ending. Duan's already left. And if we want to take a few minutes, and I'll give it back to you, Erica, before we get to the commission meeting, I want to say.
okay. Thank you all very much. Staff, thank you very much. And staff, if I can help out with any way in navigating any of this, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure you guys are more than capable of handling it, but I know it's a lot of work. So don't hesitate to rely on us. All right, everyone, do we to adjourn, or is that just kind of a fun thing that Bob says? You're muted, so you better move.
Move to adjourn, please.
All right, we'll see you all in about 4 minutes.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.